Welcome, everyone. Greetings to the Digital Innovation and Digital Art for Climate Pavilion. I'm Miroslav Polzer. I'm with IAI Glotcha and also one of the coordinators of Digital Art for Climate. And we are delighted to welcome to this space our friend and colleague and partner and advisor from Geneva, Trang Fernandez-Leenknecht, from Holistik Wealth Management. And the context for this presentation is that we have the Digital Art for Climate initiative, which is on the one hand an innovative way to engage the creative community in the fight against the climate crisis, but also to mobilize financial resources through NFT technologies, blockchain technology, creation of digital assets which can be traded and collected. And there are very many financial implications, legal implications, tax implications, and we are here to, and it's a new field, it's emerging, regulation is emerging, and we are here to share our knowledge. The main knowledge bearer is Trang, and we want to discuss this topic and to learn from one another, and we learn also with the community, with the digital solution providers, that we will develop solutions that are also then in a legal context and taxation context really aligned with the global movement and with national legislation, regulation. Trang, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. The topic comprises different parts. The first one is, of course, the blockchain technology, not to confuse with crypto per se. The technology itself empowers a lot of different projects and different parts. We've been talking a lot about NFT, about DAO, about markets, etc. But today I would like to focus on digital art and how digital art paired with the technology can mobilize resources, especially, for example, if we talk about another topic, which is carbon offsets. That has been a hot topic, but with the blockchain technology, there are more and more awareness that these can be a very strong support to more credibility and more trust for the topic. Do you want me to?
Will you switch or shall I?
Yeah, I think it's better. Okay. So I have switched the topic because yesterday we talked about the DAO. Today I would like to focus more on So maybe
So if you know very well the technologies and then you can jump
Yeah, you can jump to the basics.
in which activity are you?
I'm a lawyer and I'm advising several tax startups in the crypto space and I'm here with fintech, blockchain technologies.
Okay.
maybe just to, because it will give the direction of the conference. Because today, of course, the idea is now to explain to you, probably you won't know a lot about carbon offset, a lot about blockchain technology, but because of my background, so I have a double background in finance and law, it's a way to understand how all the mechanisms across different countries, they come together and they have impact or not, because there are a disconnection between the different countries, different jurisdiction, and also the way people work. So it changed a lot the way solution can be brought to the different partners. So today I will give more a legal insight how things can move together so that we can achieve the impact that we're all looking for. So basically, when we talk about this topic, especially in the carbon credits, there are a lot that has been done. And more or less, there are three ways that the governments or the people have set up to have those solutions. Either you have governments that decide that it's compulsory and then they impose the rules, or we have extremely conscious people who are convinced by the topic, so you just have to mobilize them to gather them so that they come together and they do it together. And you have all these, I would say, which is the mass majority of people who kind of like the topic, but they're not ready to commit, spend time, etc. So how can we incentivize those people who would like to have some reward, but at the same time also maybe when they do that they can have a good consent. So the idea of the topic today to show how can we unlock all the great potential of the citizen across the world and say, okay, you can do something. Maybe for you, carbon offset is such a topic, controversies or too complex, you don't want, but at least you want to do something, give resources, and have good conscience with that. So that's the idea of today. It's a mix between, indeed, I would target the leaders is how can we incentivize those people. So blockchain, we talk a lot about it, but actually I would like to talk about the entire Web3. And the entire Web3 brings features that are unique. And as you said, you know very well, so I will jump this part, but I will focus on the carbon offset aspect and the NFTs, because here we are talking about certificates that are non-fungible. And it's what we all want, that they are non-fungible. It's not a trend to say we want it NFT, but actually that's because it's a core feature in both art and carbon credits. So that it's a good way, of course, to avoid fraud, double accounting, and we're selling and making profit all the time. So now we are talking about two different communities, and at first it might look, wow, how do they come together? But actually, you probably know that 2020 and 2021 were the year of NFTs, especially in the entertainment sector, such as sport, such as art, etc. People suddenly realize, my God, it's a huge sector, so much money to do, etc. And at the same time, there were critics. What kind of critics? So much energy consumption. Okay, now we have the merge of Ethereum, absolutely, it's reduced almost 99% of energy consumption. That's the first step. That is more the artistic side. The artist has to be a conscious person, a conscious consumer, and he made the decision where he's gonna mint indeed his art, etc. But again, we would like to focus on the vast majority of citizens who would like to do something for the climate, but not spend too much time. Yesterday I talked about the DAO. I won't talk about it again because there is another tool, that instrument that can be used. And today we would like to focus on the NFTs. Why? Because of the NFTs, it's a good way to, every time you think about it, it's a ownership, a certification of ownership, but usually creative people, they love it. We can be very also creative how we use it so that we can mobilize resources through art for the benefit of sustainable projects. So, of course, we raise money with that, that is mobilizing some resources, and thanks to that we can provide, because we are saying we are selling art, but through this selling we are providing direct resource to finance carbon offsets credit certificates. But at the same time, because it's widely talk about it, you can sell it anywhere in the world, you can potentially reach every citizen. And I'm not talking about geek people, I'm talking about banks, retail banks, because at least in the country where I come from, they mention about it. There are numerous conferences. So really the idea is to reach this mass population and say, okay, are you interested in art? But at the same time, you would like to do something for the planet directly, not only through the way you use this protocol or another protocol. So it's a way also to help mobilization, because tokenization is a very specific also characteristic of the technology. And we know that tokenization basically is make something digital but fractionalize it so that you can sell it in many smaller pieces for every budget and a variety of stakeholders. Because when I say investors, it can be for your pension, it can be because you find it's for fun. Maybe you can promise that they say every month I'll give you some pocket money. So every month you have a fraction of the token so that you can do something and earn at the same time a piece of art. So actually artwork can become an economic actor, in the sense that we are talking of the same blockchain-based tool, which is the NFTs, and through that you can showcase how the carbon markets can be brought to the citizen themselves. And of course, in both cases, including art, by the way, so that the whole system works, you have to retire or burn, but most of the time we call it retiring, the credits, so that there is no double accounting. You don't want either that your art masterwork has copies everywhere. You cannot avoid that, but you can prove that it's the only one that belongs to you. It's the same man as for the NFT in the credit carbon sector. So how we there is a name now. I don't know why there's always a name, but maybe it helps to remember. Here we are not talking about traditional finance. We are not talking about only sustainable finance, because we are far beyond that. And the word impact finance or impact investing, etc., has been widely used, and it has somehow lost also. There's no time now to talk about impact investing. Now it's time, because of its emergency, to talk about regenerative finance, because we want to recreate what the Earth has given to us, and that it's losing its qualities and benefits. So now we are talking about regenerative, and family or not family, it's through a technology that a lot of people talk about that, but they know exactly how much we can do and the potential of it. And I believe that if we adapt now, a holistic approach. We are not only talking about crypto speculation, not talking about only one part of the technology, but the technology itself is a tool, and how you use a tool, it's how you can get the most benefit of it. So here I'm talking about art, because art is the way you can move people, the way you can also talk to people, but actually you could combine a lot of things together so that you can really achieve the goal that you have, which is indeed, in this case, mobilizing resources for the planet, and through art, but it can be through things that speak to people. Because I believe I jump a lot on the very technical aspect, because this exists, but actually, if we want to reach the citizen, if we want quickly outcomes, impactful benefits, we need to talk to people with a topic that they can understand, which is art. And everything takes place most of the time in this case on-chain, because it's the on-chain writing that can bring all the benefit of the technology. It means transparency, immutability, the ledger, of course, the tokenization aspects, etc., etc. So, a quick comparison, and then we will finish with that, is this is a few main top benefits of the technology, and I will make a comparison you will see in the next slides. Yes. Why, in this case, in Auto Carbon, it works. So if I go quickly to the main, you know that it enables data to be managed and stored. It ensures, of course, transparency and mutability. We can create a share ledger, scale up the rights, or at least authentic the rights, and facilitate the greatest number possible of questioning. So all this quality, decentralization, traceability, public ledger, community, and that is very important, tokenization, we all know about it, we all talk about it, but how can we put that into realization to achieve your goal is that we want, in the case of digital art, in the case of carbon offset, is we want it to be democratized. Because the carbon sector, basically it's 90%, not even more, by governments, or at least very large companies, very large entities, and the voluntary market is there are less secure data. It's still opaque. There are a lot of things that has to be verified, authenticated, etc. But if we can, through the technology, to make it more available, give access to a larger number of people, it's what I call democratization. And let's there and say it, like I said, actually yesterday about the DAO, it's a improved democracy. And actually, I'm choosing this word because we soon will be talking about it with Harvard, talking about what are the new democracies, and one of which is through the blockchain technology. And of course, when you have talked to most of the citizens in this country, you want it to be available, but available in terms of budget. Because if you say, wow, look, we have this, but nobody can afford to buy it, but through tokenization, you can reduce the price and also increase the number available. That is, of course, possible, and even that's the only way to go. And because you have made all these characteristics of the technology, you have reduced costs, because project origination takes a lot of time and cost. I talked today, by the way, with a Brazilian businessman who is doing this through the forest in Amazonia, and he buys lands, and it's been 2 years. the time that he made all the calculation, how much carbon they can capture, certification, all the engineer, all the drawings to look through the area, it takes 2 years. That's a lot of cost. So can we improve that so that we can reduce the cost and make the project more affordable? And once you have a democratization affordability, of course you need it to be liquid. Because if you buy it and you know that you are stuck to it and you cannot do anything with it, it's not possible. And liquidity increase security, and it increase, of course, also the trading between different people. And scalability comes with liquidity, because now because you have liquidity, you need to have scalability in terms of project, but also in terms of resources, financial resources, technical resources. And then, of course, you strengthen the whole investment case. You can explain to people how does this work, etc. And because you did everything, you've been able to show that it's verified. You've been able to show that it has been regulated. You were able to show that all the cost has been, controlled. So you build more trust and more credibility, both in the technology itself, by the way, even though it's one of the best innovation lately, and of course in the way digital art, foremost, but also carbon, but it can be in other sector. They all come together. They are fantastic solutions. The trust is key in this case, and I believe that this technology can bring trust to the community. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions. I've been very quick, but yeah.
Thank you very much, Trang. It's great having you here. We've seen scratched only on the surface of the expertise of Trang. It's very much much more depth available, but really it's the importance to have systems engineer, legal systems engineer like Trang to help bringing integrated solutions to the world as regards art and carbon credit offsetting. We are working on individual carbon footprint compensation crypto stamps, where we are issuing editions of thousands of our NFTs from the artwork that we collect from art competitions, or by inviting high-profile artists, and then people will be able to purchase them anywhere online, or also especially in shops, post shops, but also in fuel stations. It's something which is quite near when people are filling up the fuel of their cars. Some of them feel guilty, and they might then be more inclined to buy this individual carbon footprint compensation, NFTs, badges, crypto cents, however we will call it in the end. And the point is that with the art, we inspire people, people want to own the art. It's somehow in the nature of people, and once they start using the technology, once they bring these solutions on their mobile phones, then a total universe of climate action empowerment can be opened up for them, and they will be also able, with this NFT as a key, to channel the financial resources from the NFT sales to the projects that they care about. They can channel financial resources in their local community, in thematic communities that they are part of or that they want to support. They can identify specific regions, specific demographics that they want to support. We are especially eager to develop solutions for youth climate action empowerment. Yeah, so there is really huge potentials. We are convinced this is the big game changer in the world, NFT empowered individual climate action, and with partners like Trang we can do it. Are there any questions? Law expert.
I was curious about your initiative. Are you using your own marketplace, or are you?
Yes, we are collaborating with Unique Network NFT platform. It's on the Polkadot and Kusama blockchain ecosystems, proof of stake blockchain with a really minimal environmental footprint. And we have now already our digital art for climate marketplace where initially it is on the based on cryptocurrencies, paying with KSM. But since yesterday we've presented in a press conference here at COP27 a new solution of with checkout.com. We have now the possibility that people can buy the NFTs with credit cards. So no KYC, no need to have cryptocurrency for these purchases. And through this, we are opening up this world of solutions to the general public, because otherwise it's too demanding really to get cryptocurrencies, and this is really a big progress that we have made these days. To scale up this market, you need a healthy market. So what do you think is the role of the regulation, a state regulation of this market? What do you think about it?
I don't know from which country you are from.
I'm from Brazil.
Okay. So, for example, I will tell, there are different markets, but I will tell you about Switzerland. I'm a Swiss right? So, we have been one of the most advanced markets in terms of regulation. We have a great expertise in finance, so we know, of course, what type of problems we can face. And the way that our regulation has decided to implement, and then I will answer your question, is for us, somehow, of course, the technology does bring new features. But at the end of the day, regulation is always protecting the consumer, protecting the investors, and as you said, a healthy system on which you build trust. So, and you are right in the sense that sustainable finance was somehow it's the same, so people didn't believe in it, right? So, the idea is indeed to set some. The way Switzerland function is more soft in the sense that we believe.
I'm sorry, I will have to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
Whenever you are finished, we run out.
I can answer your question after, yes. So thank you very much for your very interesting questions.
You can continue. I just wanted to say that I have.
Okay.
You can continue as long as you wish. Miriam would have take the broadcast.
So, actually, the way is that we kept, we say the laws, they apply to crypto as well, blockchain technology, etc. There are only a few specific rules to tackle specific risks. So, the fact that the regulation is just the first part to have the trust. And then the second part is how you enforce that. And our authorities have been in that sense, for example, when in my sector I talk to the federal government or the cantonal government, etc., they are the first one to say, come to us, explain to us the issue so that we learn, and hopefully we can find a solution that works for you, but also for the government. And at the moment, I must say that the crypto sphere, altogether, blockchain technology is involved in signature, whatever you want. There are a lot of trust, and indeed it has helped a lot that a lot of companies are coming to Switzerland to start the company. But if we go, your question was more related to carbon, right?
It's because we have two kinds of regulation. It's the crypto regulation and the carbon market regulation. When you put both together, how to regulate these two things that are in different tracks? How to do that? What's the main problem that emerged from the situation?
What I see is, at least in this case, what I see is, because the threat is the opacity, right? The fact that you cannot trace where does the money come from. The threat is on financing where the money is going to, etc. And there are real issues that in every project, not only carbon, right? So the idea is the regulation is here to help you to say what happens, when it comes from or go to, etc. But the technology will help the regulation because it's transparent and every operation will be public, or at least you cannot change it. It's not that even if it's not public, and then they come to you and they say, okay, now we want to see the ledgers. Show us what happened. You cannot change it, so they will see it. The regulator will always be late, but the rules exist. So what you do with technology and innovation is now we are able to prove that we've been doing and we respect the law. So in this case, actually, in the majority of cases, because carbon sector has a lot of problems, but one of them was with the data, right? The data and the money. And in this case, you are able to show really what happened. So somehow you stick to the regulation, and the regulator, somehow they just want to know that you didn't have an official accounting and something in the back, and you can trace the money.
But I'm thinking not only about the post-regulation, which is monitoring the market, but before the market started really to scale up. What do you have to do before?
I'll give you an example.
Maybe the first question is: do we need laws at the national level about specific about the carbon crypto credits, for example?
Crypto credit.
Carbon credits at that blockchain platform. Do we need specific regulation
In this case,
beforehand? I mean, do we need to draw this market, or no? We just have to wait, see what happens, and then we regulate after, for example. Or do we need something beforehand to be sure that the market's going to work?
Yes.
So I would say that
If you talk now only about the project, because actually the crypto aspect comes for the certification or NFTs. So if we talk about the project itself, before even the blockchain technology, somehow it's only the carbon regulation itself, because now you have to set up extremely precise criteria in when, how it does meet the requirements, so that it can be recognized as a offsetting, project, how it can be recognized to be traded. Because it's nice to have a sustainable project, but if you cannot trade it, and there are rules for that. For example, somebody asked me today about pension in a lot of countries or sovereign funds, they want to invest, for example, the Norwegian one, but not only, Switzerland as well. They want to invest most of the money, into sustainable project, even impact project, in Norway, they say it. The point is, you have indeed the financial regulation itself, and then they have to look at the project regulation itself, and they are different. And because once you respect your sector financial regulation or just regulation, but then you have to understand whether the project itself does fulfill the goal that you want, which is different. And in this side, I agree with you, it's not the same set of rules. And then come the third one, which is, what is an NFT? Do you recognize it as just a proof, a document? But that is every country has, because some says it's just a paper, other they say it's an asset because somehow you have some value in it, etc. So that in this sense, at the moment, every country have their own way. But per se, that's nothing new, because people are saying that it will never work because every country has their way. Yeah, but in every sector, the way you interpret one thing from one country to another is always different, because culture is different, the situation is different, etc. So when people say, but I feel unsure because in this country it's a property and in another country it's a certificate, but real estate is not the same qualification. There are so many sectors where it's the case, and that's why there are people international, especially like me, who can coordinate. So sometimes some of the hurdles that you hear is not blockchain specific, but whether you have trust that the project meet the requirement of offsetting, of ethical, exploitation, etc., all those requirements, that is the first step. And then the second step is once you check the box on all of the project, do they meet what the investors, because now we are talking about investor protection or consumer protection, that's another set. Because otherwise, you can also just do peer-to-peer, and that same blockchain will help as well. Because in that sense, you don't need the same regulation. You just go peer-to-peer or over the counter, and then it's without strict regulation, and that works as well. That is more opaque or less available in terms of market access.
I don't know whether I answered the question. Yeah, we can take it.
Thank you very much
For your question.
So thank you very much for your attention. I know it is a complex topic because it's very on the table technology and two fantastic sectors, but thank you very much for your question, and I hope to see you again. Au revoir.